Oh, yeah.
It's already going.
You want me to be it like this then, or do you want me?
Doesn't matter.
Alright.
How's everyone doing tonight? So I'm pretty meticulous about how I do my comedy. I always write out my set list and date it, and I usually run it past a friend first. So I ran this set that I'm going to do tonight past one of my best friends, and he said, "Man, you say cunt 28 times. You don't think that's a little bit blue?" And I said, "Well, it's like my grandma always said, only the British can say hate's a strong word. The rest of us haven't said cunt enough." I'm a writer. I enjoy writing. I hate censorship. And I really get annoyed by people who decide they dislike words just because of the way they sound. Not hate speech, I get that. But specifically two words. The words moist and squishy. How are you going to hate against two words that can describe both pussy and cake? Or ideally a pussy-shaped cake, because let's face it, we can all get off by ourselves, but how often do you get a pussy cake? 5, 6 times a year? Speaking of hate speech, I absolutely hate gay bashers. I have come up with my own unique way of making them feel uncomfortable. If I'm sitting at a bar in a restaurant and I hear somebody being loud and obnoxious and overly hateful, I just walk up, I go right up next to them, I say, "Well, sure, Daddy, I'll suck your cock, but don't expect me to go full-blown homo, because damn it, I love pussy." And then I give him a kiss on the cheek and run like a motherfucker. So, I hate having my picture taken. Very few exist, but I once dated a girl who insisted on it, using the whole, "a picture's worth 1,000 words" bullshit logic. So I went and got the picture taken. Yet later that night, she looked utterly surprised when, after she blew me, I patted her on the head and handed her a dictionary, because I know the real value of things. People who get upset about fast food making people obese have to realize that fast food still exists for the same reason we copulate with people that we absolutely hate. It's cheap, it's easy, and it's always going to be there. So I've noticed lately that leather dusters are a lot like backstreet abortions, in the sense that only an asshole will pay for them and they'll both fuck up a wire hanger. And only a person who's paid for both can tell that joke, really. So I do a lot of comparison jokes, and I got off stage and a woman came up to me and said, "You know, a margarita's better than a man because a margarita hits the spot every time." I looked at her and said, "Well, by that logic, a vacuum's better than a woman because it'll suck your dick, clean the floor, and not say a fucking word about it." So I really think I should get out of raising hell. I mean, I'm older, and honestly, I don't think any dried fruit can contain me. I mean, dates, prunes, I think I could bust out all of it. All my friends are having kids, and they constantly ask for my advice. And I don't have kids, I want kids, I don't have them, but I always tell them, well, don't name your kid Jesus and be surprised if he dies before 40. So when people ask me at my age, "Do you have kids?" and I tell them no, but I always say, I have raised several because I like the pretty color they burn. That's the second homonym joke using the word raise for those keeping score at home. I love people with the perfect name. There's a gentleman who coaches football in the NFL. His name is Jim Bob Cooter. Jim Bob Cooter could only be a football coach. The only other thing he could possibly have been is a sexually transmitted disease that girls in the South were warned about in the 1800s before their first cotillion. Like, "Now ladies, Be careful of your unmentionables around the po' boys. You don't want to get the gym bob cooter like poor Abigail last year. So, after 18 years of trying to develop my sex android, I can definitively say that the Bible does not have all the answers. There's not one chapter on advanced fluid dynamics or complex circuit construction. I went cover to cover for 18 years, probably 100 times. I couldn't even get the fucking thing to blink at me. So after the sex android debacle, my family got worried about my sanity. And they said, you really need to have a hobby. So I became a pessimist. To be honest, it didn't start off all that great, and I don't think it's going to get any better. I'm going to end on a little bit of a personal note. I'm divorced, surprise, but my wife is truly evil. We were married less than a year when she left me, and she asked for a divorce via text from her boyfriend's house on my fucking birthday. Now, the type of evil that is can only be experienced by someone who's felt it. And anytime I'm within a half mile of her now, my hair stands on end and I feel a disturbance in the force. And all of a sudden fucking John Williams astral projects next to me and he cues me up with his baton and I have to burst out in the song. Cunt, 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 cunt. Cunt, 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 cunt. All right, my name's Chris. That's my time. Thanks, guys.